What God has called you to do is much bigger than anything you could imagine, Abraham. It is much greater than anything you could ever think of. In fact, if you're not living a life of faith, you're just not living a big enough life. What God has called you to do is bigger than anything that you can think of. But what happens is that when we hear God's plan for our lives, often what happens is that our self-limitations begin to surface. We hear God's voice and we're like, God, I know that you've called me. But what happens is that our self-limitations begin to rise. And what the enemy does is that he begins to magnify them. He begins to echo them. That's right. I know. Yeah, no, trust me, this is way too much for you. And ultimately, what that begins to say in our lives is this. It begins to scream this: I can't do what God called me to do. Have you been there? Have you been there? I can't do what God called me to do. Yeah, I know that sounds like a great plan, but I can't do what God has called me to do. And I just want to tell you, you're in good company. Because trust me, you're not the only person that's ever felt like that. And what you have seen in the Bible, sometimes when we talk about the men and women of faith in the Bible, they look like heroes, they look like champions, but they were people like you and me. And they all felt at one point or another this self-limitation that said, I can't do what God called me to do.
Hey, thank you for watching this video, and if you have found any value from it, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified anytime we release anything new. And if you're interested in more videos like this one, I want to recommend this one to you. Make sure you like it, comment, share it with the world. And last but not least, I want to thank all our Patreon partners. It's because of you we can keep all our content free and share God's love with the world. Remember J1335, love is our logo.